Hey YouTube, in this video I'm going to be doing a deck profile on my newly built Gear Chronicle deck. So this Gear Chronicle deck focuses a lot more on the time leap strategy with the based off of the new trial deck, Introspectal Dragon. So you see Metallica Phoenix as like the main stride unit. And I'm a big fan of Metallica Phoenix. I think it's kind of what Gear Chronicle needed in terms of a good opening stride or first stride. Assuming you ride Chronojet as the main Vanguard, but we'll get into the differences. So, if you saw my previous Gear Chronicle deck, that one is the one I still consider that one slightly more competitive, mainly because that one has a lot of the tech cards and the more expensive cards. Like, for instance, that one has Arlim, the Unflipped Perfect Guard. This one's going to be running just the Trial Deck Perfect Guard. And that one also has the new cards from GBT04. And it's got stuff like Upstream, Dragon, and things like that. So this one's more of like the trial deck mixed with a few other tech cards. We'll go over those. But this deck is a lot easier to build if you're starting out with Vanguard, because literally all you need to do is buy 2 trial decks of Introspectal Dragon, and you may just have to get a few other cards, and the deck can still technically function fine without those, but it just won't be quite as good overall in terms of the performance. So start off here, 4 Chronojet Dragons. So out of my 2 trial decks, one of them did come with the signed card, so I do have the 3 hollows and the 1 common. So 4 trial deck, or four the new Chronojet Dragon from the new trial deck. Same as the old Chronojet, nothing's different. This is the main Vanguard that you want to ride into, so you want to hope that you can ride this as the main grade 3. For backup grade 3s, the main problem with Gear Chronicle right now is that they fall victim to the grade 2 game. Like if you're up against Ripples, you're going to have a hard time. So they have a few options for other grade 3s besides Chronojet. One of them is the Legion build, but the Legion again is not good against grade 2. So I decided to take the Legion out, and instead I went with Fate Wheel Dragon. Fate Wheel Dragon is actually very affordable. It's a very budget card. I think I picked up all 4 of these for like $2. So yeah, it just depends. I don't know what they sell for right now. I got these like a long time ago when they came, or like back when Lambros came out. This thing had already came out with the cross and stuff because it's GBT1. But yeah, I think he's pretty good because when you do ride him, if you have to ride him, at least he does something when he's placed on V. He Soul Blasts, he Counter Blasts 1, Soul Blast 1, and then he returns an opponent's grade 1 or less rear guard. So he can get rid of the opponent's starter, he can get rid of an opponent's booster. Like if you're up against Ripples, they'll oftentimes try to spam the field. He can get rid of like a grade 1 Ripple or something. So Fate Wheel's not a terrible alternate grade 3. That, and also his GBT1 skill does have the Silent Tom effect, so there's that as well. So it's not that big of a deal. So I think for right now, I don't want to run the Legions. I'm just gonna run Fate Wheel Dragon instead. So that's grade 3s. For grade 2s, 4 Relic Master Dragon. Again, same thing with Fate Wheel. I picked him up when he was extremely cheap. I think he was like $1. So I think it was like $4 for all 4 of these. His price has probably gone up because people have realized that this is essentially the Berserk Dragon clone for Gear Chronicle. The nice thing about him, he doesn't require GB1. And so in that regard, he's good against playing around decks that like to stay at grade 2. So 4 Relic Master. You can run 3. But I would say 3-4 is a good number. If you don't have him at all, then that's okay. You can run Amber from the first trial deck. Next, I'm running 4 History Maker Dragon. So this is the new card that like came in 2 copies of the trial deck. One's foil, one's not. The nice thing about him, he doesn't require a boost. So he's a GB1. But unlike Amber, he doesn't have to be boosted to do his effect. It's basically when he attacks a Vanguard, he can Counterblast 1 to Time Leap one of your other rear guards. And Time Leap, for those that don't know what it means, it basically means when you select a rear guard to Time Leap, what you do is you bind that rear guard, and then you call a grade 1. Or no, not grade 1. You call a rear guard from the deck that is one grade higher than that. So if you bind a grade 1, you call a grade 2. If you bind a grade, or I guess time leap is the phrase. If you time leap a grade 1, it becomes a grade 2. And if you time leap a 2, it becomes a 3. So it's really good for helping set up a field early. But again, because it's GB1 restricted, you can't really rush with this. And I guess that's kind of how they balance these. Otherwise, I can see Gear Chronicle being really, really good. If they weren't restricted to GB1, but they'd probably be too good at that point. So, next, 3, Steam Maiden Mariana. Steam Maiden Mariana is in here because of the time leap play. I think she is a really good card in the time leap style because her GB1 effect is when she's placed on R, she gets 4k. So she becomes a 13k unboosted, potentially hitting a cross ride without any boosters. But her plus a 7k behind her, or no, her plus an 8k behind her is 21. So in a budget deck, this along with 8k vanilla is very good. And it's easy to call her out with time leaping with History Maker. So that's the reason why I only run 3 copies of her. I feel like Relic Master is more important overall. If you don't have Relic Master, or if you only can get up to like 3 Relic Master, you can bump her up to 4. It's just up to you. Or you can run like 2 Amber and 4 of her and 1. I don't know. It's up to you, but this is, again, it's a pretty budget deck. So that's the grade 2s. For grade 1s, since it is budget, it's just 4 of the Steam Maiden. Sanliar, she's the new Perfect Guard for the latest trial deck. So just a generic Perfect Guard. But it's good because you can block any, you can protect any rear guard or vanguard. Next, 3, Time Break Dragon. He comes in groups of 3 for the trial deck, so I'm only trying 3 of him for right now because I think I'm not sure. I've been playing with the deck. So 3, Time Break Dragon. What he does is when he's placed on R from the hand, you can time leap one of your other rear guards. So he does what the History Maker Dragon does. Only difference is he can only do this when he's placed on R from the hand, whereas this guy's when he attacks Vanguard. Next, 3, Steam Maiden Danish. She's in here because she does the opposite of what this guy does. So when she's placed on R, and the nice thing about her is it's on R's, which means you can actually, if you time leap a 0 and pull her out, you can use her effect because it's not restricted to the hand like that guy. So what it does is it chooses one of the opponent's rear guards, and the opponent returns that unit to the deck, searches for a unit that is less than, or let's like 1 grade less than that unit. So you basically, if you select a grade 2, they have to call a grade 1. If you select a grade 1, they have to call a grade 0. Or a grade 3, they call a grade 2. So it's the opposite of what these guys do. So again, it's a pretty decent card, then a trial deck card. And then I am running 3 Steam Battler Olgir. Again, this with her, with Mariana is really, really good because, like I said, if you time leap a grade 1 into Mariana, she hits the field at 13. This thing behind her is 21, so that's a 21 column with no triggers, so that's a very good column. So that's the reason why I'm running the 8k vanilla, because, like I said, it's a budget deck, and for budget decks, you want to go for you want to optimize your ability to build columns. It's like the main thing you should focus on. So that's just one way to do it. And then I am running 1 Gigi, so Steam Scara Gigi. Just like how Chrono does in the show, he runs 1 Gigi. You only really need 1. You don't want to ever have to ride this as your grade 1, as your first ride, because it's 5k, it's awful against Rush. And also, you only ever need to call this out like once per game, because you don't have a way to build Soul. And potentially Fate Wheel Dragon, if you have to ride him, he will Soul Blast 1. So you won't be able to use her until after you use Chrono Dran. Which would be completely different, because if you're on Fate Wheel Dragon, you can't really use her or Chrono Dran. Well, I guess you can, but I don't know. It just depends. The Soul's really tight in this deck, and we'll go over that. It's also mainly because of the Stride unit lineup. The Stride unit lineup changes when you're on Fate Wheel Dragon, so that's just something to keep in mind. For trigger lineup, since it is budget, I just stuck with 4 draws and 8 criticals and 4 heals. So again, it's just the standard lineup, nothing very fancy here. And the starter is Chronojet because he's the new starter. And he comes in the trial deck, and the nice thing about him is he's a foil starter. So there's not very many foil starters aside from like Lizard Soldier Conroe, which no one can even really use as a starter anymore. But it's nice to see that they make the starter a foil. I kind of wish they would have done this with the Pale Moon one, instead of making a random stand trigger foil. But anyway, that's the main deck. For the strides, the stride lineup will depend on which Vanguard you ride into. So with him, you can play... Okay, both of them you can play Chronojet. It doesn't really matter, because he calls Chronojet to the field when he's time leaped. But anyway, if let's say you ride Chronojet Dragon, then you basically have access to the entire stride deck. So for strides, 2 Metallica Phoenix. Metallica Phoenix is a very fun card. I like it a lot. Then you have the 2 Ragnarok. I said it's budget. Ragnarok is kind of pricey, so he's not necessary in here. If you don't have him, then I would recommend running 4 Metallica Phoenix, just so you could do more time leap plays. But then again, that does take away from Fate Wheel Dragon in the event where you don't ride into Chronojet, because you can only use Metallica Phoenix if you're on Chronojet. So for Chronojet, you have access to Metallica Phoenix, Ragnarok Dragon, Interdimensional Dragon Chronos Command Dragon, 1 Epoch Maker, 1 Fate Rider Dragon, and 1 Upheaval Pegasus. So this is the stride deck that I went with for Chronojet. Now, the only difference if you ride Fate Wheel is you do not have access to Metallica Phoenix, and you also do not have access to Upheaval Pegasus. So these 3 go away. You can still stride decently with like 4 times per game, unless you just want to rewrite Chronojet, like let's say you had a lot of grade 3s. But keep in mind that this deck does not run stride fodder. That's in my other Gear Chronicle deck. So that's basically it. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Also, with the Fighters collection, that new guy that uses this will be there. So usually the plays would be, if you're on Chronojet, you stride Metallica, you flip up this, and then later on you can go into that new guy, because this will be face up in the G zone, this will be face up in the G zone, and then that guy will be on the field, and then you have another copy of him. So in that regard, you wouldn't even need to run Epoch Maker, or even you can replace the 2 Ragnarok with 2 of that guy if you don't have Ragnarok. So lots of different ways to play the deck. I like it a lot. It's really, really fun. I think it's more fun than the original Gear Chronicles. So anyway, let me know in the comments below what you think of the new Time Leap Gear Chronicles, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.